Alright guys, good morning. So in today's video I want to show us another method or pattern you can use to cut your shirts. So right here I'm just trimming off the base just to make sure I have a straight line at the base of the shirt, or rather the shoulder area, however I want to see it. And as well I'm trimming off the English mouth at the side, right? That's the bottom allowance area. So I will trim it off and then we proceed to the marking processes. Here with me is my guy in the name of MJ, right? So he's the one that is cutting while I do the explanations. All right, now so right here we are trying to fold the button allowance of 2 inches, right? So fold this way. Bear in mind this is another method of shirt cutting, so you take your time to fold this 2 inches. 2 inches will be folded in line with the shirt length plus extra 2. So when you get to the shirt length you stop folding. So now we have folded the button allowance of 2 inches. This is how it will be, right? The two panels folding together. This is how it is. Fold it 2 inches, right? It must be 2. Please don't fold 1, don't fold 3. Please fold 2 for you to be able to achieve the method or the procedures we are going to use. So now you apply your shirt length of 31 inches plus extra 2 inches, making it to be 33. Please, you must add 2 to the length of the shirt, right? Apply the measurements twice. Apply it twice so that you will be able to get a straight line. That's the 31 inches, 33 inches plus 2. That 31 plus 2, that's 33. Then make sure you mark a line, a straight line connecting the baseline, that's the shirt length, right? Then you have to focus on the aspects or the areas you have mapped out for your shirt drafting. So right here we are making our chest. We have a chest line of 42 for our chest, divided by 4, you have 10.5, right? That's the chest measurement we are going to work. Then you apply this measurement from the folding point. Bear in mind that this 2 inches is still unfinished, right? So you start from the edge on fold to apply your 42 inches chest measurement. Then you get your armhole applied. Then the front panel will be ½ inch bigger than the back. We are going to know the reasons for all of these measurements as we progress in the cutting procedures. So you mark your extra chest measurement by 4. That's 42 by 4 is 10.5 plus half 11. You mark 11 and then you put your normal inseam allowance of 2 inches, right? Fine. Then you come to the down part of the shirt, the down area. You also apply the same measurements you used on the chest area plus allowances, right? That 13 inches in total. You apply it there and then you connect with a straight line. Now in some cases you might want to have a curvy effect or a shapy effect at the half length or the center or at the tummy area. You cannot go inward by 1 inch and connect accordingly, right? But then just watch how this is done so that you get to know or meet other methods aside the regular one I used to show you on the group. Then after you must have connected the points, then you slant the shoulder by 2.5 inches. Please, you must slope by 2.5. Then this sloping will go accurately to the fold point of your 2 inches allowance. You slope in this direction, right? Make sure you slope by 2.5, please, 2.5. Then slope in this direction, right? Then after this, now the next thing you will do now is to apply your armhole. Armhole we have is the regular armhole of chest over 4. You get the you get 10.5. Then you mark the 10.5 on both ends. You draw a straight line, chest over 4, whatever chest you have over 4, right? Now in this method of shirt cutting, the armhole of both long and short sleeve are the same, right? But there will be a little difference if you want to have a perfection of armhole issues when you get to closing of the chest. So now you have seen how the connections was done. 2.5 inches slanting. Then your armhole will start from the edge here and not from your slanting. Take note of that. This 2.5 inches is normal slanting. Your armhole should start from here and not from the slanting position. Mark your armhole measurements, chest over 4, draw the line and then apply the chest as well. So now the next thing you will do now is to apply your shoulder measurement. Now the shoulder measurement is 18, that's by 2 is 9. Then you add extra half or 0.3 thereabout for the sleeve joining, that's 9.3. Then your shoulder application must be slanting in the same line of your shoulder slope. meaning you must slope your tape in the line of your slopey line. Don't put it straight. There will be a little difference if you put it straight, right? So this is how you're gonna slant. You are gonna apply your shoulder, then you apply your shoulder plus the allowances together, right? Fine. Then after that, the next thing you will do now is to get the center line from the sloping line, from the slope line to the armhole remaining. The middle point is 4 because we have 8 left, right? So you mark 4. And from that 4, you come in by 1.5 for armhole trimming, or as the case may be. All right, guys. So now, for you to have your perfect armhole curve, now you are going to measure from your shoulder ending to the chest end point, right? Now get the total distance here. Here is giving us 3.7. So you are going to add extra 0.3 or thereabout, or half maximum. Then take it down to the armhole, the point of your armhole, center of your armhole trimming. Then mark the same position there, and then you curve as shown. Then you place your armhole curve, as you can see, you curve as shown. Now this connection must be done properly, right? Please watch this video over and over again for proper understanding or clarification before you start drafting or start cutting. You see how the connection is? What I did here is you measure the total distance from the end of the armhole to the chest ending. If you have 4, add extra 0.3 or half, and then take it to the center point of your armhole, then connect in that direction, meaning that this curve should go in a bit, ½ inch or 0.3 inch inside than the shoulder measurement. That's just the reason for this drawing and this connection. All right, guys, so the next stage now is to apply your neck. Now in this neck marking, there's this calculation you will do. Now the neck we have is neck of 17 inches. You have to add extra 2 to it, having to be 19. Now you have to divide 19 by 2. You have you divide 19 by 6, right? You have 3 points. So on this neck calculation, I was trying to explain that the neck calculation is gotten by 17 inches is the neck. Then you add extra 2 to it. This extra 2 is for the button allowances that will cover the shirt allowance, right? Then you have to 17 plus 2 is 19. Then you minus 0.5 from it. Now any answer you get, you now divide by 6. Now that 0.5 you deducted or you minus is to enable you have a perfect sewing, because at the cost of your sewing, you might encounter the process of or the issue of your neck being a bit wider than the regular cutting, right? So it's better that after you have developed your neck, cut a neck lesser than the real measurement, so that before you fix your collar, you can now fine-tune the neck to give you the exact 17 inches you want. Better small in cutting than wide in cutting, right? So that is the calculation you're going to use for your neckline. So you now mark, I have 3.08, that's 3.1. You place it at the center fold of the 2 inches allowance and mark 3.1 as shown. Now add 0.5 to it and get your depth of the neck. The first calculation we did was the widthwise measurement of the neck. Then when you have gotten the widthwise measurement of the neck, the next thing you will do now is to add half to it. Whatever answer you get for the width, add half to it to get the depth. That's the conventional rule. Then after that, you place your armhole curve in this form, and then you connect accordingly. Now this connection must give you a very circular neck, so that by the time you finish cutting, it will come out properly, right? So try to get these tools when making your outfits. Don't still forget that the 2 inches we folded is still on fold, right? We have not altered it, it's still this way, right? So you have to connect in this form. All these things will be clear when we cut and open it up. So now we are done marking. The next thing is to cut, right? Now if you notice, there was no curvy or shape effect, both the upside and the downside, but then we have given room 2 inches that will help us do the curves as we might need, and both the side and the downside of the outfit of the shirt. So you are going to cut your own in this block form and then proceed to the back pattern. So guys, we are going to cut now, so let's enjoy the cutting view of the shirt. Right now, this is the neck area, right? You are cutting everything together, both the 2 inches folding of the button allowance. You cut it all through that way. Then after this, now you cut from the shoulder slope. Don't forget that the shoulder slanting was 2.5. Then cut your armhole area, right? Cut the armhole area. Now this armhole area is as well explained. Then you cut the side. Now this side, at this first cutting, we go straight up. So by the time you finish cutting, when sewing, you now trim the sides to give you the curvy effect you want. You can still decide to do otherwise now, but then I will advise you to follow this procedure so that you be able to achieve same results. Then you notch the button allowance area. This notching is to help you know where to fold from, not the upside and the downside, right? This notching is very, very important as well. Now we are done with the front panel. Take a good look at the front bodies. This is how it came out. Now all these things I'm trying to explain, you will be able to do this when you practice with the video, and you will also learn more as you progress. All right guys, so now we want to cut the back. Now the front panel was calculated, and the total distance or measurement we had was 13 inches. I told us that the back will be half inch shorter or smaller than the front in width, right? Now since we had 13 inches for the front, we're going to mark 12.5 for the back. Now this 12.5 is covering both the chest measurement over 4 plus extra 2 inches, right? Fine. I told us initially that I added half inch to the back for me to be able to achieve I added half inch to the front rather for me to be able to achieve a perfect result as we progress, right? So now when you have marked your 12.5, then you connect with a straight line. Now this is for the back drafting. Now this method won't allow you to place and cut for your front and back panel. You must do it gradually. You must do it individually. So then the length of the back will be 6 inches longer. Now don't forget, sorry, the length of the back will be 4 inches longer. Sorry, don't forget that the front was 33 was what we used for the front. Now add extra 2 to it, making it to be 35, meaning the back will be 4 inches longer than the real length of the shirt, not 4 inches longer than the front panel, meaning that since the shirt length was 31, you add extra 4 to it, that 35. Whereas in the front panel we had 31 inches shirt length, extra 2, 33, right? Meaning invariably the back is 2 inches longer than the front. So now when you have gotten to this stage, you mark 35 inches length and then you connect as well. Now this connection must be done properly, right? You must make sure it's connected properly. Then at the end of the day, you connect it. It will be in a square form, right? Then because of the pattern of the shirt we are making use of, we are going to deduct the back length by 7.5. Now that 7.5 will serve you for the facing, which we are also going to see as we progress. So from the up part, you mark 7.5 inch down. Now this 7.5 is for the facing joining and Q sewing application. Then don't forget that you are going to join the back facing by half an inch. So you mark half an inch, that's 7 now, right? But then try to understand that you have to mark 7.5 first and then mark 7 later on, and then you connect as shown. You connect as shown. Then this connection must be done in this form, right? Then you slit it from there. Now for the back cutting, we don't draft the armhole yet. You just cut this way, join the back facing, then before you continue. This is how it will be. It will be in a block form. It's actually easy. Just watch the video, you understand better off. Then once you have gotten to this stage, you notch the center point so you will know where to join the back facing from. Then you fold. Alright guys, so now we want to cut the back facing. Now this back facing will be 2, right? Now the first one will be to replace the 7.5 we removed from the back panel. The next one will be to cover it up, right? So then bear in mind that we use 7 inches to shorten the back piece. So but then in this cutting we are going to add extra half to it to cut at 7.5. Now let's see how it's done. Alright guys, so now we want to cut the back facings, right? Now these facings will be 2 like I said. Then you have to fold this to be 13 inches in line with the front piece. Don't forget that the front piece folding was 13 inches, so the back facing as well will be folded at 0.13. Now it's on double fold, right? Now the length will be 8. Now don't forget that the back was cut at 7 inches, right? So you mark at 8. Now this 18 inches will be for the length, or rather the depth of the back facing. So you mark that way. Then you take the front piece, you connect the lines as well. Connect your lines as shown, right? You connect the lines as shown. So then you make your connections. I have to change chalk so that it will be a bit clearer, right? Then connect your lines as shown. Then these connections, like I said, 13 inches width, then length of 8, right? Then place the front panel. Take the front panel and place as shown. Take the front panel and place. Then you are going to make some calculations as well to mark the neck. Now you're going to push your tape half an inch inwards. Mark half an inch inwards. That's half an inch inside the front facing, the front panel. The half an inch as well outside the shoulder area. Then you're going to mark 1.5 inches deep for the neck depth, right? Make sure it's 1.5 inches deep from this point, 1.5 inches deep. Then you make a connection in this form, right? Then after that, you connect the line from the half inch to the other point. Then you are going to make a slanted line connection from that edge to the one down this way, connect in that form, and then you are going to slant it outrightly to the edge of the material unfold this way. You're going to slant it outrightly this way to that edge, right? Make sure it's slanted in this form. Then make your proper connections and then you cut. The cutting might help you to get clearer view of what I'm trying to explain. Then after the connection, this is how it's gonna be. Then you slit the base. You slit the base. Now this slitting you are slitting must come at the center of the fold material or the material you have, right? You slit this way. Depends on how you folded actually. If your folding didn't accommodate the material to be folded at the tip, there's no problem. Then you also notch the center mark of it to know where to join to the back piece of the outfit. So the armhole trimming will be done later on as we get to the stage of sewing. Then we are done cutting the front and the back facing. Alright guys, so now the next stage we're gonna do now is for the sleeve cutting, right? It will be a packet shirt, that's a top stitch shirt at the size and the shoulder. So now the sleeve length I have is 27. You first and foremost mark out the baseline, right? Now you mark it out in this form, and then you apply you cut off the edge there. So make sure you have a straight line at the down. Please make sure you iron your clothes before your sleeve material before you start drafting your sleeve. It's very, very important. Then you fold your material in this form. Now this folding is guided by, so what guides your folding is front sleeve measurement divided by 2 plus 4. That's your biceps by 2 plus 4, right? That if you have a biceps of 14 by 2 is 7 plus 4 is 11, right? Alright guys, so now the sleeve length I have is 27 minus 3 for your curve, 24, right? Then plus extra 1.5. Now this 1.5, half inch will go for the sleeve, for the curve joining, 1 inch will go for the top stitching effect at the shoulder. So you have 25.5 there, right? So that's the measurement you have. Make sure your measurements, measure twice so that you have your perfect connections, right? So you connect your shoulder, your length, your sleeve length in this form, right? Now this connection must be done properly. So now the round sleeve you have is 15, then divide by 2, you have 7.5, then add extra 4 to it. Like I told you, the folding would be sleeve length divided by 2 plus extra 4, right? Then you have 13.5 there, sorry, 11.5. Then the biceps, the fist rather, divided by 2 as well. So we have my fist to be 8 divided by 2, you have 4. Then you add extra 1 inch for the pleating allowance, and extra 1 again, that's 6, right? Then you mark it all together. You can decide to mark it individually, that's no problem. Now you come down by 5 inches for your inner arm, right? Now you can use 4 for smaller sleeve lengths, or 3.5 as the case may be. So now you come down by 5 inches, and then you connect as shown, right? Now you connect with a straight ruler with this direction, right? Make sure the direction, the cutting, the marking is done in this form. Then you cut the sleeve as shown. That for the sleeve cutting, right? Alright, so now as you can see, the sleeve has been cut, and then this is how it looks like. Then you have to notch the edge so that you also know how to go about the joining, right? This is how the sleeve is. So right here now we are going to put our point for the slit placket. Then because of the fact that we had the total distance we had here was 7, right? Was 6, sorry. Then you come in by 3, then you have to reduce 0.3 for the placket sewing, so that by the time you sew your placket, it's forced back to 3, right? So that's the reason for that. The length of the opening is 4 inches, right? You can make yours to be 3.5 as the case may be. Now after marking your 2.7 inches by 4, right? Now the next thing you do is to slit, but before you slit, make sure that the rib faces are mirroring each other. Means the fronts must face each other, right? So you slit only 2 pieces. Please don't slit the 4. Take 2 pieces and slit. Then while slitting, make sure you give it a V notch at the end. Don't just slit straight. Give a V notch at the end of your 4 inches depth, right? Then after you must have done this, then you are done with the sleeve, and then the next you will do now is to cut the plackets and the cuffs. So now the next thing we are going to do now is to cut the plackets and the cuff as well. Now for the border placket, the measurement we are going to use is measurement of 2.5 inches width by 6.5 or 7, depending on how lengthy or long you want your placket to be. So width is 2.5, so you mark 2.5 there, and then the next thing you will do is you apply it 2 times as well, and then you make the length to be 6.5, right? 6.5 is recommended. You can use 6 or 5.5, depends on the person you're sewing the shirt for. So 6.5 by 2.5, then you connect as shown. Then once you are done connecting, you cut it out, and then bear in mind that it will be two, that's 2 pieces, so that one starts for the right and one starts for the left. That's for the border placket. Now the next placket we're gonna use, so the next placket we're gonna use is 1.5 inches by 4.5, right? So 1.5 inches by 4.5 for the smaller placket for the shirt. So you mark 1.5 inches that way, and then mark it 2 times so that you have a straight line, and then you mark 4.5. Bear in mind that these explanations is strictly for adults. On kids, you must reduce these measurements. 1.5 by 4.5. You cut it in that form. Alright guys, so now we are done cutting the shirts. As you can see, the components we have, this is for the plackets, right? Now the bigger one and the smaller one. Now the bigger one was 2.5 inches width, right, by length of 6.5, right? Then these measurements can change as the case may be. Now the next you're gonna see is the sleeve, which I have explained how the sleeve was cut. This is how the sleeve was cut, the opening, right? And then the next you see now is the back panel and the front panel rather, and then the back piece of the clothes, and then this is the back piece of the outfit. Now this back piece is yet to be synchronized or finished, right? Because there's no armhole yet as well, but there's neck on the facing which we have cut out. Now this back facing will be joints from the center fold this way. That's that place you notched. This place we notched, we join to this way, right? And then later on, after joining the front and back shoulder, we now trim our armhole this way. So this is another method you can cut your shirt. But then if you find it convenient enough, you can try it out. It's actually easy and it's good. So this is the back piece. The only thing different now, we have not joined this part. So when we join this part, we will now know what next to do. So I will meet you guys in the next video, which will be on the sewing procedures. I will also explain, and then I pray this video will help us all to achieve our shirt cutting and as well have a nice sewing. Thank you for watching.